Welcome to the September Talk Supervisors Professional Learning Session. In order to access all information, you will need to log into Pear Deck by visiting joinpd.com and use the code LACGSL. You will need to leave this recording open and playing while accessing Pear Deck. You will then listen to the video while interacting with Pear Deck slides. Please note that it is not an expectation that teachers begin using Pear Deck in their classroom. While we encourage using this add-on to Google Slides because it increases engagement, we understand that you will need support when learning how to use this tool. In the presentation, you will find 2 links that will help you get started. Frederick County Public Schools has purchased a Pear Deck license for teachers to utilize this tool for free. Simply sign up with your Google account. Please be sure to complete the survey linked at the end of the presentation by October 16th, 2020. Again, let us know if you have any questions, and as always, feel free to contact the instructional supervisor assigned to your school.
So what I would like to do is, before we begin, we do have a few new folks joining our team this year. So I would like to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. I know we've come together before this year, but certainly don't expect everybody to remember all the names. So I'm Linda Farringer, and I am one of the elementary instructional supervisors. And it's really great to see you guys again today. And I do have here with me Sue Ellen Rutherford and Sharon Shrum as well. And if their computers are down for it today, they're going to join us. Unfortunately, we've each been having some issues, but they are here today for this as well. So we're going to start just with the beginning of the alphabet and kind of roll through our schools. When you share your name, please just share when I call out your home school name. I do know some of you have multiple assignments. So let's go ahead and start with Apple Pie. The PE teacher or teachers assigned to Apple Pie, if you can just coordinate unmuting yourselves and tell us your name, perhaps how long you've been in education, and if so, how long you've been with Frederick County, and anything else you'd like to share about yourself.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
All right, I'm getting Betty on. All right, I'm getting Betty on. All right. Okay. I'm Evan Smith. This is my first year. And then
Where am I?
you're on there somewhere.
Okay.
Hi, Betty.
Hey. All right. I have been at Apple Pie for 30 years. This is my 47th year.
Excellent. Thank you for your service here. Wow.
And I still can't use a computer.
And she's got a new partner in crime this year.
Yeah, Zach got tired of having to help me, so now Evan does. Oh, Jared, Miss Saunders.
All right. Did we get to hear Evan? I'm sorry. I don't think we got to hear you.
I'm here. I'm Evan Smith. I've taught fourth grade for 18 years. For 18 years. This is my first year in PE, so I'm excited for the change.
Excellent. Welcome to the team. Great. Let's move on to Armel, please.
Hi, I am the illustrious Jason Tresetter. I've been here on there for 20 years and I'm ready to get this show on the road.
Woohoo. Great. Thanks, JT. All right.
Hey.
Bass Hoover.
Oh, you gonna cut me off? I don't count?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
No, you guys gave me a teammate this year.
I see how it is. All right, I'm Zach Tonovitz. This is my first year at Armel, and I was at Apple Pie Ridge for 14 years with Betty. And like she said, I just ran out of patience with helping her figure out what her password is for Google, so I had to move over here. That's it.
Well, I hope you have a lot more patience with your new assignment. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Bass Hoover, please.
It's going to take too long.
We have an hour meeting.
All right. My name is Dawn Seymour. I have been teaching for 22 years. I took 10 years off to raise my daughters. And I have been, this is my 15th year at Vancouver with Mr. Burton.
Excellent. Thank you, Dawn.
Hello, I'm Joe Burton. This is starting year 21, and I've been here at Bass. I was 1 year in Warren County, and now I've been here 20 years here at Bass Hoover.
Thanks, Joe. Good to have you today. All right, Evendale.
Mark Croson, 30 years this year, and Betty Saunders was my cooperating teacher in 1990.
Excellent.
Love you, Betty.
Oh. He is a partner in crime there too.
Hi, Caitlin Fickbaum. This is my 7th year at Evendale and 8 years teaching overall.
Excellent. Good to see you, Caitlin.
Too.
All right, Gainsborough.
Mike Turner. This is my 17th year at Gainsborough. I'm a Gemini. I like gladiator movies and long walks on the beach.
Thanks, Mike. Chad, you jumping in here?
I'm trying.
All right, take your time. Oh, Captain America.
So, Chad Wines, this is my 21st year in Frederick County, and I've been doing this 30 years overall. So, hello, everyone.
Good to see you. Another 30 years. Excellent. Okay, moving on to Greenwood Mill.
Hey, everybody. Mike Walton, my 9th year at Greenwood Mill. It's good to see everybody.
9 years already. That's amazing. All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Bear. This is my first year teaching, first year at Greenwood Mill.
Excellent. Welcome, Eric. All right, Indian Hollow.
Jared Neal. This is my 20th year all at Indian Hollow. I met Mark Croson when I was in college, and Mrs. Saunders was kind of like my mother-in-law at one point. And Walton did his student teaching under me. Go figure that one out.
Excellent. Very good. Thanks, Jared. All right, Jordan Springs.
Todd, you can go first.
You want me to go first? Okay. I'm Todd Miller. I went to Middletown Elementary School in, I think it was 1977. So that dates me a little bit. My elementary PE teacher at that time was Mrs. Carper. Mrs. Carper. I think she's now in Loudoun County. Let's see. I started working at Grafton in 1990. I was in Warren County Public Schools for 8 years. I've been in Winchester City for the last 12. So I'm excited to be at Jordan Springs Elementary School.
Excellent. Welcome, Todd.
Hi, my name is Maya. It's technically spelled Mia, but it's pronounced Maya. So if you get it wrong, I understand. This is my first year teaching overall. I just graduated from JMU. I'm from the Winchester area, though. I went to middle school at James Wood Middle and Millbrook High School. And yeah, my age is probably younger than a lot of how many you all have been teaching for. So no offense, but yeah, I'm only 23. So
way to make us feel old.
Maya,
sorry, that's what I'm here for.
It's clear you fit right in with this crew. Welcome. All right, we are moving on to Middletown.
Hey everyone, Anthony Archetti. I thought I was a younger one here, but you know, Maya just went, and I'm 33, so now I feel old. The first 4 years was at John Kerr Elementary in Winchester. I actually knew Todd, taught his boys for a little bit, and the last 5 years, this is my 5th year at Middletown, even though it feels like my 90th year of teaching, because the last 3 years have been with Terry and Eric at Redbud, and you can imagine they'll make you feel like it's been longer. But yeah, and I'll have a new coworker soon. For those of you who don't know, Krista's last day is Friday, and we have a new PE teacher at Middletown starting, I believe, on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, how do you always get inside information?
Great. Well,
I cannot verify what Mark typed in the chat nor deny.
We love Nick.
Yeah.
He was our student teacher.
Well, I've heard he's pretty awesome, but yeah, so.
Excellent. All right. Excited for you and for Nick, and we'll make sure that we give him an opportunity to introduce himself next time. Orchard View.
Hey, Mark Grove. This is my beginning of my 20th year. Homeschool has been Orchard View the whole 20. I was with Jared at Indian Hollow part-time my first 4 years, and he corrupted me a little bit. But other than that, I've been here. So that's about it.
Excellent. Thank you. You have a partner.
Mike Wolf, this 14 years. I did 7 years of special ed at NREP. And then I was 7 years PE main schools, Orchard View. I spent 6 at Indian Hollow with Jared, and I have my first year with Zach and JT over at Armour.
Excellent. Thanks, fellas. Redbud.
Hello, I'm Terry Seal. This is my 12th year in Frederick County, and I've been lucky to work with several of the people on this chat. Started with Mark. You guys hear me?
I think, Eric, if you turn your speaker all the way down, there you go. All right, go ahead, Terry. We can't see you, but we can hear you. It looks like Eric is Terry. And now we can't hear Terry. Eric, I think you need to turn your mic on so we could hear Terry, but then turn your volume all the way down.
Hey, let me come here.
I think my mic is broke on my computer. So anyways, I'm Terry Seal. I think this is my 12th year in Frederick County. I started out at Evendale with Croson over there, and traveled around a bit. Worked with, I think, Mark Grove, Anthony Arquetti, Joey Hahn, Kathy Lindenberg, probably a couple other people in there too. Always a joy to hear Sue Ellen's laugh in the background. And then now I work with this guy, Eric, over here. I got to bring my Lysol to work. He just got to go have Mexican food at a restaurant. So ready to get out of here.
Thanks, buddy.
Hi, guys. I'm Eric Ratliff. This is my 17th year in the county. Seems like Anthony said 90 years working with him. So happy to be here.
Thanks, guys. And last but not least, Stonewall.
I guess you can say me. I'm Kathy Lindenberg. I've been teaching since 2007 in Frederick County since 2015. I've taught in probably every region of Virginia, except for the Tidewater region. So, at every level. So that's it. I'm old, so if you're 25 or younger, I could probably be your mom.
Thanks, Kathy.
Hi, I'm Joy Hahn. This is my 19th year teaching. I taught 9 years in Loudoun County before coming to Frederick County, and this is my 10th year at Stonewall.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies, very much. Thank you to everybody. I know we do have, a time limit on today, but it's just so important that we all connect with each other and ensure that, we know who's in our network. So I appreciate you taking that time to share that information about yourself. What I would like to do is, as we're going through this, I'm going to be showing you how Pear Deck can be used in your classroom, whether you are teaching students in the hybrid model who are right in front of you, or you're teaching them on their asynchronous days, or you are completely virtual, which really kind of only applies to Anthony, and working with students in that virtual manner and creating those sort of lessons. So your Pear Deck screen should have moved on to the next slide. You do not need to keep your Google Meet screen up for any reason other than to access the chat if you have a question. So let's take a look at this slide. We want to start off with positives. We want to start off with some celebrations. We certainly know that not everything is a celebration and that there are difficult times and there are roadblocks, and we are going to get to that. But we would like for you to share with us in the space provided on the right a success that you have had thus far this school year. So it can be in relation to you, your students, your instruction, your classroom, whatever it might be. Perhaps it was difficult in the beginning and now you've overcome it or you're working toward that. But we're going to give you a moment and have you put in those responses in your screen, please. You do not have to hit enter. As soon as you're done, you may just stop typing. Okay, in order to keep this moving along, please continue to put your responses in. One of the great things about Pear Deck is that as the teacher or the facilitator, it allows you an opportunity to see how many folks are engaging in this question or how many students are engaging in this question in live time. So I can see that 19 out of 21 folks are engaged. Perhaps one of my teammates here are one of them, and that's why our numbers are not quite at 100%. But of course, if you were to share this out with your students, whether they were right in front of you or you're teaching them asynchronously or synchronously, pardon me, you can tell how many of your kids are engaged. The great thing about Pear Deck is that it kind of forces you to give wait time. According to research, we give very, very little wait time to students to process our questions and to formulate a response, sometimes less than a second. And I know I've been there. I've asked a question, and as soon as a hand has shot up, I'm immediately calling on that child. Whereas some of the other kids in the classroom still haven't even processed the question, let alone started to think of an answer. So I can see your answers as you are typing them in. You cannot see them though. And that's a wonderful thing about Pear Deck is that it is a very kind of respectful platform in that manner. If students are not comfortable with sharing their answers in front of the crowd, then they don't have to, and they don't have to worry about that. That could be something that really affects a child's level of anxiety and really makes them hesitant to share their responses. So what I'm going to do is just because you cannot see these answers, I just want to share a few with you. And I know who has put in each of these responses as well. And so that's another wonderful feature as a teacher, that you can provide immediate specific feedback to your students when they are putting in those responses. So especially if it's a face-to-face session, you can give that. And then in an asynchronous manner, it may be that you give them that feedback right after the session is over, but it's wonderful that you can see their responses as they're typing them in. So we have someone saying so far we're off to a smooth start with class rotations and cleaning equipment between classes. I'm glad to hear that. I know that was very concerning for a lot of folks in the beginning. Being able to actually see some of the virtual kids via video responses and Seesaw, that is wonderful. I mean, that they are why we do what we do, and it is really hard when you lose that connection with them. So I appreciate that. And also kudos to you on trying out Seesaw and having your kids engage with you and give you those responses in that manner. So we also, celebrating that kids are in the building. We have a high percentage of kids attending the virtual PE classes, and many are coming in prepared with a safe space as well as the equipment. And we have a shout out to Eric for doing a great job for quickly building relationship with our Greenwood Mill Gators. So excellent job all around. I'm not going to tell you what Mark Croson said because nobody cares. I'm just kidding. Mark told me I stink, but that learning Seesaw for the first time and he's getting the hang of it. So excellent job there. Celebrating some successes. I know that sometimes it's harder to find those than others, but I think when we look hard enough, they're usually there. On the next slide, what we want to do is we wanted to talk about you, and we want to hear about you because we know that making time for social emotional learning and wellness checks for our students are absolutely vital and really a priority right now. And it has to be for you too. We need for you to be able to express where you are in relation to your wellness and your mental health and mental wellness. And so what we'd like for you to do on this sliding scale is move that vertical purple bar that you see left and right. So everything you see on this screen is editable. I particularly don't like 0 to 10 scales. I feel like it's too many numbers. So I might make mine 0 to 5 for fewer choices. You can change the graphics, the student, if you'd like to show more diversity. You can change the colors and the text. Everything can be simplified or made a little bit more of a higher level. We simply, as new users to Pear Deck, who have just taught ourselves to use it over the last week, we use this slide because it's a Pear Deck pre-made slide. And Pear Deck has a lot of things that are already made, and all you need to do is tailor it to your goal and what you want to get out of it. So with this, it allows us to see where you're at and how you're feeling and, encourage you to reach out to us and reach out to some of those other folks that you have around you who you can have a discussion with and who you can get support from. So with that being said, Sue Ellen's going to share some information on the next slide in relation to what some of those resources are for you.
All right. Hey, everybody. The resources that you see on this screen are not all inclusive, of course, but they are some of the more common resources that we have available to us. So what you're going to do is take the purple dot and drag it to the white box in front of the resource that might best support your needs at this time based on the rating you gave on the previous slide. So who has been or could be most helpful to you? We do want to point out the EPA. The EPA stands for Employee Assistance Program, and this is a benefit that is available to all of us as Frederick County Public Schools employees, as well as our families. It is a wonderful resource and one that is often underutilized, and we just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention and make sure that you were aware. The phone number is listed on the screen, as well as the password that you use when you call. Much like you guys, the three of us have been also relying on each other, our colleagues, our teammates, and we sure are a great support for one another when you're in the same boat and you have similar needs as well as successes. We sure are go-tos. So we recognize that you're leaning on one another, and that's great to see. We have about 15 of our 23 responses entered, so we're going to give you just a little bit more time to have all folks participate. And keep in mind that we are here for you as well, and if there are things that we can help you sort through or provide, we want to be able to do that for you. Okay, next we're going to talk about the instructional site, and Sharon is going to share that information with you.
All right. Every week we get a few people asking for access to the instructional services site. So right now we'd like you to take that blue dot and say, yes, you know where it's at, you've got it bookmarked, or no, thumbs down, you don't have it bookmarked. All right, we have a few of you that don't have a bookmark, so no worries. That's what we're here for. We're going to help you do that now. So Ellen, you want to share your screen with us? So Ellen's going to share her screen, and we're going to take you to the Elementary Instructional Services site, and we're going to show you the bit.ly link that will allow you to type that in, and then we're going to bookmark it. In order to bookmark, all you're going to do after you type in the link is click on that little star at the very top. Oop, I have a couple more moving to no, they don't have it bookmarked. Okay.
It's all right.
Screen's coming. There you go. You see that bit link in the middle? Go back to the tab where the Google Slides are. And you'll see that bit link, bit.ly/ELEM-instruction. Go ahead and type that in, the URL. Once you've done that, then click on the star, and it'll throw it right into your bookmark. So every time you need that link, that's where it's going to be. Okay? The other thing I want to show you is the new Communications tab. It's also on the Elementary Instructional Services site. So Ellen, if you don't mind, would you scroll down to the Communications tab? These are all in alphabetical order except for the first few. When you click on the Communications tab, every email that's sent out in principal's notes and then it's shared with you, you no longer have to keep this someplace. I mean, you can if you want, but when you go to this, you're going to see every one of every communication that's sent out, so you don't have to look around for it. It's going to be under the communications link, and then it'll have it by month, then the title, and then the date that was shared. So hopefully this will be a good resource for you. Anything, again, that's sent out will be right there. No matter what content, it's all in there by date. Okay? All right, you can go to the next slide, Linda. And we can unshare that, Sue Ellen.
Okay, on this next slide, we wanted to begin a discussion that I've had with several of you about how we might provide specific timely feedback to all of our learners and how we can equitably and accurately assess and grade student progress and learning. So what we would like for you to do at first is just process this question, think about what you've done in the past, think about what you're doing right now, and in that space provided, you can answer either or both of those questions. How do you provide, or how have you been providing feedback to your learners? And in what manner are you grading them? How are you able to provide those grades? What does that look like? We want to hear from you first, and then we're also going to have a discussion about it. So we're going to give you some wait time to go ahead and process this and post your responses. Please continue to input your responses. We have some excellent reflections and questions and suggestions here, and we are looking at those as they are coming in. And we want you to know that after we have this video recording, we typically edit it in WeVideo so that we can then share it out with you, and for those folks who may not be able to participate. And at that time, we will also share the responses to this question. It will be anonymous, so there will not be any names attached, but that way there are some great ideas that you might find to be helpful in your classroom so that you have those in written format in front of you. So somebody did post, what does everyone else think after their answer? And so you'll be able to see what everybody else is thinking and what everybody else is doing. But for the sake of time, I'm going to read a few of these randomly just to see what it is that I can share. If you are still typing, please do so. I do see some folks have those 3 dots, which means they're still working. I encourage you to continue to finish those thoughts since we will be able to see these responses when all is said and done. I think one thing I did not mention is that not only can we see your responses and know which response is yours, but at the end of this presentation, Pear Deck / Google Slides, because they're working together. Pear Deck is an add-on that only couples with Google Slides. They work together to produce a document that will be automatically uploaded into my Google Drive, since I'm the facilitator. And then I will see every question I asked in this presentation. I will see every answer that was given, and I will get to see who provided those answers. So for those of you who may have commented, I'm not really sure, or I feel like I'm not reaching all of my kids, or, I'm not getting a lot of participation. If you create a Google Slides, which perhaps some of you by now are pretty proficient with it. You can easily turn it into a pear deck, even just the last slide as an assessment slide. And collect that feedback from your kids. And then you are, touching on every kid. And I know in PE, it is absolutely vital and ideal that you see the kiddos performing this skill. I mean, that's really the essence of physical education. But I know that we're also working in a very different time. And, we have to be patient with ourselves and with each other and work toward that. So it's a great feature that allows you to collect feedback from every child. So for virtual learners, they video themselves, and then the teacher is able to send them an email right away with feedback. For the hybrid learners, they are assessing them as they did before, although it has been hard to give them a grade because they only see them twice a month. And I completely see how that would be very difficult. And there are many of you who have said it's really hard to get everything in that needs to be done with the amount of time that you're given with the students. So please know that, the VDOE, of course, is expecting that we touch upon all of the standards and get through those. But living in your shoes and in the reality of what we're dealing with, it's not feasible. We understand that you are not going to get through every single thing that you have previously. So what we talked about when we looked at our pacing, you are just going to boogie on through, do as best as you can to get those kids to mastery, and then you move on. And some of you have made some comments about, ensuring that you do see the kiddos exercise those skills. And so using Seesaw as a way for students to record themselves and share that back has been something you have found to be beneficial. Using Google Classroom again. So Google Classroom and Seesaw are, of course, our go-tos. Observations, checklists, comments in Seesaw from videos and pictures, audio from students, conversations with students with specific feedback in class, exit slips, and rubrics. Those are all fantastic means of gathering some formative, data, or even just an opportunity for you to give feedback to students in general. Now, the way that you tailor that rubric is up to you. But I do want to mention yesterday I had quite the honor of attending a Rick Wormley session on assessment and equitable assessment. And one of the things he mentioned is that when we are assessing students, we need to make sure that what we are assessing is tied to the standard. So if we are giving a grade, it is on the standard, it is on the skill. It's not, the student participating or not participating, but it is the execution of the skill itself. That being said, our goal is mastery. And some of you only see your kids twice a month. So the opportunity for them to get to mastery may take quite some time, and it may be in an asynchronous manner that they show you that. So what I want you to think about is, what are the steps that it takes for a student to get to mastery? If there are things that you're looking for along the way, you might need to create a continuum, and you may need to say, okay, I need to grade this student when they get to this point of the continuum, because they are showing me at least that they're making adequate progress toward that standard. So I do understand that grading for mastery, it has been quite a challenge, but we may need to rethink and look at it from a terms of, are the students making progress toward mastery, and assessing based on that. The report card has not changed. So O, S, and N are still the grades that will be given. So the grading scale is still O, S, and N. And again, that is completely apart from participation. Participation is not a standard. I understand that it is an important thing, because if they don't, then you can't assess the standard. So you can create a rubric for participation and give that information to the student, but the grade should not reflect that unless it is explicitly in the standard itself. All right. I appreciate your input on that. And again, like I said before, we will make sure that we share those with everyone following our time together. So on to some good news. I don't know if you all received my email today, but yesterday, it was actually myself and the director of secondary education who oversees or is the touch point for PE. We met with Cherie from Focus Fitness or WellNet. And it was during that time that I learned a lot about the expectations and the new fitness challenges that exist. So one thing that's important to note, and she made very clear, is that they intentionally did not call them fitness tests. They're calling them fitness challenges. So these fitness challenges are going to replace the fitness tests that are typically given. So as you can see on your screen here, the functional fitness challenges, or FFC, contain 5 tasks, and most of them require little to no equipment at all. Actually, all of them require little to no equipment. They can be completed at home or at school. So we can have conversations as a team as to whether or not we think some are more appropriate for at home or for at school. Of course, for our virtual learners, they all have to be done at home. But for our hybrid students, you may decide as a school team, or we can have conversations as a department team of how we feel about certain ones being done at the school versus at home. And fantastic component of WellNet is that students are able to enter not only their pre-challenge data and their post-challenge data, but also their goals. And actually, this has been a component of WellNet all along. So I don't know how familiar you are with WellNet. I have discovered that a lot of you never even had it to begin with. So after working with Cherie last night, and she, I didn't even have it. She gave me access as an administrator. I went in and I added every single one of you last night who did not previously have an account. And if you did not receive a welcome email, just shoot me an email after this and I'll make sure it comes your way. But everybody has a login through this single sign on eventually to WellNet. At this point, I will have to send you that link, or you could just Google Focused Fitness, and it'll bring you right to that site. So Focused Fitness and WellNet are, kind of the same thing, but the tool itself that you and your students will access is WellNet. So let's say you are giving your students the first challenge. We will meet with Cherie and she will tell you how you will guide your students and families to enter in their own scores if they are doing these challenges asynchronously and independently. We're really working on the honor system here because, of course, students can enter information that is completely inaccurate, but that's where, it will be our jobs to have a conversation with them about, ethical behavior and appropriate responses, and how, you're just starting out. If you can't do this, it's okay. Your goal is to move forward. So we will have a separate meeting with Cherie. She said it should take about 20 minutes where she is going to walk you through how to access WellNet, how to give your students access. And I think it is going to save you an incredible amount of time because you will not need to enter scores at all. Now, again, as a team, we'll have a conversation about pre-K, K, and that sort of thing, and perhaps what that might look like. But that will be a discussion for another time for us to get together. I did contact IT yesterday and started the conversation of putting WellNet on the single sign-on, and so students can just jump into that and not have to worry about passwords or anything like that. So JT is saying one of the major concerns from parents countywide has been the large amount of different platforms used across the county and often times even at a single school. Has there been any consideration to adding yet another platform for parents, students to learn the more difficult? So JT, this is absolutely something that will be a school-based decision. If you don't want students to put their data in, they don't have to. If you want to put it in for them, that's completely your choice. But they would still have to put the data in somewhere, and you would need to access that, and you could put it in WellNet. So we definitely want to be mindful of what we're asking of our students and our parents. So as I said, in our next meeting, we'll have that conversation. I wanted to share it with you today because I was kind of excited to have finally heard some information yesterday, and I wanted to give you that log into WellNet just so you can process it before today's meeting. But we will have a much more extensive conversation very soon. But I just wanted to plant a seed for you to start thinking about this. Think about your population, think about the access that they have or issues that they have. And we'll come together and make that decision, keeping in mind everything that we're asking our students and parents to do. But I think the biggest maybe celebration is that we know that we do not have to do the typical fitness testing this year, but rather we are going to do some simple challenges. I have the challenges right here, and there are actually 15 to 16 minutes total that it would take for students to do the challenges. Each one of them has a maximum time limit, and when we get into WellNet, you will see how there are videos that the students will watch. It will guide them through exactly what they need to do, how they need to do it. The timers are on WellNet, so the student doesn't have to find a timer. There's a metronome that's there, so the students don't have to worry about doing that. So it is going to cut out a lot of the things that you would typically have to do, or stressors that we might have to put on our parents if students are doing this virtually. So I'm excited. I learned a lot about WellNet, and it is an excellent resource. And I think as we meet with Cherie from Focus Fitness, I think you'll be able to, be a little bit excited about what it can do for you as well. So Cherie is working with our IT department right now to get it on single sign-on. And as soon as we get her the information that she needs, I will be able to guide you in how to get to those resources. Mark, I can certainly make a quick screen castify. Thank you, Sue Ellen, for offering me to do that. She's going to help me. But yeah, I can make a quick screen castify, Mark. It's pretty easy once you get into WellNet. If you're familiar with WellNet and entering scores, it's actually not very different at all. But what we will, I will ask you to just kind of don't look for it just yet. Cherie has to go in and she has to turn off the fitness testing that was previously done and turn on the functional fitness challenge. So if you went into WellNet today and you went to your account, you might say, I don't see anything different. And that's okay, because that's how it is. But soon, Cherie will be turning off the old test and turning on the challenges. Okay. What I just want to show you here is just a preview of what you will eventually see and what the students will see when they go into WellNet. So the student 20-minute pacer is not a challenge. So this is, again, still the old assessment. But the backsaver sitting on this screen, this is only, this is one of the only of the 5 challenges that actually exist. So the student will put in their pre-data, they'll put in their goal, and then they'll put in their post data. And it's, I'm trying to think what it is previously. I'm trying to remember it from when I was in school, which was a really long time ago. But basically when they reach, they either get to their knee, they get to their shin, or get to their ankle, and they get a 1, a 2, or a 3. So they're not doing any kind of measurements or doing anything like that. It is incredibly simplified. So don't worry. I know you have all these thoughts in your heads and wondering, how is this going to happen? I promise they've put a lot of thought into this, and they've made it, I think, as user-friendly as they can get. So with that being said, we want to honor your time and make sure that we get you out of here so that you can begin your evening and wrap up your day. I do know that there are a lot of questions in the chat. I may not be able to get to them all right now, but what I will do is, because we're recording this session, we will get us a printout of all of the chat questions, and I can reach out to you individually, or if I think that it is something that the whole team would benefit from hearing, I'll just send out a group email. I try to avoid doing that as much as possible so we don't have a ton of reply alls. So if your response just needs to come to me, please just send it to me and don't reply to the whole group. But I will touch base with folks on an as-needed basis. So on this slide, please go ahead and tell me something you learned today. What is it that you're kind of taking away from this, whether it's in relation to what we just talked about or some of the other things that were spoken of earlier. We're going to give you just a minute to do that. All right, thank you for continuing to put in your responses. Please continue to type. I know a lot of you can use more wait time, so please do that. Seeing some things, and actually a comment earlier about, perhaps not using Pear Deck because your platform is Seesaw. I don't want you to get confused between the two of those. This is not at all any different than Google Slides. So if you have used Google Slides to send things out to your students, you're kind of already using Pear Deck. Pear Deck is just an add-on that enhances the capability of Google Slide. You would still need to put the link to the Pear Deck in your Seesaw. And that's how students will access it. And we want you to stay consistent with that. We don't want to confuse students or parents or have them use one more thing. This is not one more thing. This is going to enhance anything that you may have created in Google Slides to garner more interaction from your students. But we completely understand if this is not something you want to try. We wanted to model for you in this session a tool that you can utilize. When we send this information out to you, we'll share a link to a very simple kind of foundational video for Pear Deck if you are interested, or I'd be more than happy to meet with you virtually to walk you through it or even help you create a lesson. That's something I would greatly enjoy. So please don't hesitate to reach out if that's the case. We're going to just skip this slide because a lot of you have already commented on that. Please take note that we do need you to fill out the instructional support survey. This will allow us to understand what your needs are, and those needs drive the next PD session that we have together. So, if your mind is kind of just swimming with what is WellNet going to do for us, and I need to learn how to use WellNet because I haven't really been doing it because, my partner has done it. Maybe you're going to ask questions about WellNet on that survey, or maybe, you want to learn a little bit more about Pear Deck. Please put that in there. So please complete that survey for us. I'll come back to that link in just a moment, but it can also be found on the instructional site. But all in all, we want to thank you guys for your time today, for your participation. I know it's the end of the day and you've been working hard all day, and perhaps this was not your only meeting. I will say for the three of us, you guys are a breath of fresh air. It was a best way for us to wrap up these meetings. We love your, jovial banter and your smiles and your positive attitudes. It really does become infectious, and we're ending these meetings on a really good note. So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate all you've done. Please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us if you have any needs. And we look forward to seeing you in October. So have a great day, everyone. Say bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
See ya.